In this quick tutorial, I'm going to talk about establishing norms and routines the first week of school. So I always start with an icebreaker, and it's very short. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. I have students write down 3 things, and this is the slide that I show them that I have up on the Promethean board. I have them write down 3 things about themselves. 2 are true, and 1 is false. They share with their elbow partner, and then you call on some people to share with the class. But before I have them do this, I ask them to sit next to someone that they don't know. And of course, I do this with them as well. So I share a few things with them, 3 things with them, and one of them is usually false, and I have them guess before I tell them a little bit about myself. So one of the things that I told them was that I had 2 daughters, so I threw some pictures in there to get them to know a little bit about me and my family and kind of break the ice the first day of school. This can also be done on the second day of school. Now, what I'm going to be doing on day 2 is I'm going to begin with learning. So I don't start the content, chemistry, physics, bio. I don't start that the first week of school. So we're going to be talking about how we learn, and I'm going to have this up for bell work. So they're going to guess how they think people learn, and it's going to be 10% for reading. I can give you the results for this. They have this online as well. And then I don't give them the answers until they get to kind of write them down and reflect on it first. And then after that, we actually talk about it. So I let them know what the actual responses are. And then once we're done with how we learn, I give them a short reading material. Let me pull that up. So this is the short reading material. It's on fixed mindset versus growth mindset. It's really simple. Before they read, I have them answer these questions up here. So, and that's what this slide is for. So they have to try and answer the questions. They get a little bit to jot their thoughts down on paper and then discuss with an elbow partner. And then we're going to get into reading. And this is where I take about 1 to 2 minutes to talk about active reading versus just skimming through the material and not really digging into the text. Now, while they're doing that, I have them use 2 specific reading strategies. One is the main idea of each chunk. So there's 4 different paragraphs in that fixed mindset versus growth mindset reading material, and they have to write the gist on the side of each chunk, and they're also asking questions. So instead of just telling them to read, I'm giving them 2 specific tasks to do. They are asking questions and they're writing the gist of each chunk. And it's really important for students to begin the RA routine at the beginning of school. This way, they don't feel like it's something separate, and they're actually learning what they're supposed to be doing by using the strategies that we use for content material. Now, the following day, I have them reflect on that specific text. So some students believe that their intelligence is something that they can develop through effort and hard work. And this is where I begin. So on day 3, I begin to throw in evidence. So I give them just a regular bell work question. It's a statement, and I ask them to tell me whether they agree or disagree. So they're going to restate the statement, or they're going to negate it. And then I tell them to provide evidence, so proof of why they believe what they believe. And this is where they learn what claim means and what evidence actually is. And this is all done before we actually get into science, so that when we get into the material, they're comfortable and they're used to using these terms. So now what I have them do is I have them use a thinking map to actually organize, and they usually come up with a double bubble: fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And here I talk about collaborative learning versus cooperative learning, and we talk about what the two different things actually mean. And I stress the importance of working together versus splitting the work, because cooperative learning could also mean splitting the work, and we don't want that. We want to establish um, collaborative learning from the beginning, or the start of the school year. So once we're done with the fixed mindset versus growth mindset, that's when they get their norms, their syllabus, which has norms and expectations. Now, I don't read the syllabus to them. I don't give them the syllabus and then explain it to them. I have them actively read it, because now we know what talking to the text is. We know what the main idea of each chunk is, and we know what asking questions should look like, asking meaningful questions, because they did that previously with the fixed mindset versus growth mindset material. So I don't read out the syllabus to them. I give them about 10 to 15 minutes to actively read it. And of course, we talk about it. So how do I talk about it? I don't reread it. I ask if they have any questions, and we start. So the questions that they wrote down on paper, those are the questions that I answer. Now the following day, and this will be Monday for my class, we talk about, I kind of revisit what we talked about the previous week, and I ask them what they think, which learning strategy they are most excited about, or which learning strategy they are not looking forward to. And this is where they get to share their ideas. And this is where I get to stress the importance of the learning strategies that we are going to be using in the classroom, and clearing up any misconceptions they might have about number two. Here's where I introduce Think, Pair, Share, and I like to use this template because it kind of breaks everything up and it holds them accountable, especially this part. What I learned from my partners, because sometimes they're listening, but they're not actively listening. But when you have them write down what they learned from their partner, we're holding them accountable for this specific activity. And what I have them do with the first Think, Pair, Share activity, now we still haven't gotten into science yet, I have them read the matrix, the PBIS matrix, and we are responsible for the be responsible part. So they read that. I give them about maybe 5-10 minutes to go over that, and then they write down what they think in this box. And then they talk with their partner. They write down what their partner thinks, so what is expected in the classroom, in the hallway, in the cafeteria for the be responsible part. And then I have them work together. Now we know what collaborative learning is, and they develop a thinking map that lists our classroom norms and expectations, and that includes information from the syllabus that they had the previous day, or 2 days prior, if this is a Monday. So it's from the syllabus as well as from the PBIS expectations matrix. And again, the following day, we get into more the fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And before the day that I'm going to get into chemistry, which is a lab or a project, we talk about what we should do if they don't know how to answer a question, because it's really important to get into this, because sometimes students just say you don't know. Well, if you don't know, how do you answer a question? It's okay just to make guess. How do you make educated guesses and things like that? And then once you've established all these things, once you've built this classroom with a growth mindset, then you're going to be able to get into the content material, and you're going to have students engaging, and you are going to have problems, but I would think you would have a lot less problems than just going ahead and starting with chem and not putting a few days aside for these important issues.